I'm here to answer some questions sent to me by W Atlantic, the organizers of my upcoming tour in Atlantic, Canada. Let's dive right in. I would say the most challenging thing for me is renewing repertoire and bringing new repertoire up to performance level for each season. I don't like to play the same program over many years. So I find it very challenging to find new repertoire, organize a new program. As a solo artist, I think it's much more demanding to organize and memorize and create a new program every season than, let's say, in a chamber ensemble or in an orchestra. The most rewarding, I would say, is that you live the musical life that you desire, 100%. Really, you run it the way you want, you organize it the way you want. It's really fantastic. It's quite a luxury, actually. I played in string quartets in the past, and one of the reasons why I became a solo artist is because I wanted to run my own career and sort of be my own boss on every level. So it is, as I said, it is tough to build a program and maintain a program and change repertoire and always present something fresh. But I think the resulting lifestyle is very comfortable. Yes, well, the piece that I have the most connection to is the piece that I composed, Spirit, which is a suite in 5 movements for solo guitar. And I don't consider myself a composer, really. I just was going through some tough times at the end of 2019. My mother passed away in December of that year, and even before that, she was struggling quite a bit towards the end of that year, and I just felt sort of a rush of emotions to say something with music, and there were these themes that were just popping up in my head and popping up as I was improvising on the instrument, and it was just more of a calling than a desire to compose. It was really a weird feeling. It felt like as if I was collecting ideas from another room and just putting them together to make them tangible, really, for listeners. So it has a very personal connection, obviously, and it talks a lot about my childhood and, of course, my musical influences, and it has a few quotes into it from my favorite compositions, both in classical music and classical Arabic music too. And it's quite a journey. I'm really looking forward to perform it on tour. Well, when I came to Canada first, beginning of 2000, end of '99, I came to study finance, and I did a finance degree at Concordia University. And after working in finance for a couple of years, I decided to go back and try some music. I always played rock guitar, a self-taught guitarist as a kid, and I found some triumphs in talent shows here and there back home in Jordan, where I'm originally from. I played a bit of violin as a kid, but I remember not liking it so much. But after, going through the corporate environment for a while, I could not imagine that this would be my life. I would be doing this for the rest of my life. So I decided, okay, I'm really gonna take music seriously. And I think classical music, even as a kid, I would always listen to it and always say, oh, wow, that's such a deep, intricate art form. I will deal with it later. I really knew what discipline it needed, and focus and study, deep understanding of music for it to be performed well. So I left it without knowing until I was 25. That's when I went back into studying the violin, and as soon as I got into Concordia again for an undergrad, I decided to become a full-time classical musician. You know, that's very hard to say because professional sports pump into the economy a lot of money, and I think we have a long way to go when it comes to classical music doing anywhere close to that, or even contemporary music, even tougher, I would say. The main reason perhaps is the understanding of that medium of expression, whether it's sports or music. In sports, competitive sports, as we know in soccer or basketball, it's a simple procedure where you have two teams playing against each other and they have to get the ball in the other's net, so on and so forth, and whoever gets a higher score wins, or someone runs faster than the other. It's very explicit, whereas in music there's a lot of implied things, including in classical music implied rhythm even. So it's tougher for I would say the general public to understand what's going on, so they do not naturally gravitate towards it unless they have been educated in music as kids. So I think it starts really at the elementary level of serious music education, and also the seriousness of the need to be comfortable while playing and to understand posture and you know, how to use your body at a very early stage. I think many young musicians who take on classical music, even as kids, perhaps find even holding the instrument, whichever it may be, uncomfortable. I speak from experience. As a kid, I remember holding the violin was not pleasant for me. It wasn't uncomfortable, and it wasn't comfortable, and there was no one there to really help. So I think it's very important to, just like with professional sports, you have physiotherapists, doctors, clinics on site for, let's say, any player who injures themselves or uses their body a bit too much during the game. You see them even after a soccer game. That player needs to put ice on their knee, the other player needs to jump in a cold pool, or whatever it is. They are told what to do after they have performed for, in soccer, 90 minutes. So imagine musicians performing concerts, 90-minute concerts, solo musicians, and not getting any of that care. So I think if we manage to find the funding at the elementary level even, where we have schools, especially conservatories and music schools, affiliated with musicians' clinics, I think that would help a lot those who are that do not come to it as naturally as others. So you'll have more numbers playing music, understanding music, perhaps loving it and taking it seriously, and from there you'll have more appreciation from the general public. One last point I would say about that is perhaps we can include more concerts and gigs, quote unquote, that include other fields of entertainment. Like let's say we drop the idea of a complete solo concert for an hour and a half, and instead the soloist would have within their concert a couple of collaborations, let's say with, I don't know, martial arts fight, or a juggler, or a circus act, or so you'll have some performances and some other entertainment segments within that one concert or show or gig. When that happens, I think you have more people coming to see each act, right? And therefore classical music, whether it's contemporary or traditional, will be exposed to more people who would otherwise not hear it or see it being performed. So I think it's funny now because I'm going to do a solo tour and I'm saying that, but I think if we can find opportunities to perform with other acts, I think that'll help a lot expose classical music more to the general public. There are many, to be honest, but I would say the ones who helped me indirectly with my music performance, if I may mention those, were perhaps the author Eckhart Tolle, who's sort of like a spiritual leader. And I remember reading his book, The Power of Now, early in my 30s. So when I was 30, I think 31. And I wanted to understand the concept of presence and how I can apply it to my music practice. And I found it to be very helpful. The book is, again, called The Power of Now. And what also helped me understand these concepts even more is from another sort of philosopher or psychologist from Kuwait called Dr. Salah Rashid. And Salah, I believe he studied the neuro-linguistic programming in the States back when it was popular in the 60s and 70s, or gaining popularity at least. And I learned a lot from him about NLP and how I can apply it to my music performance, whether it's controlling or keeping performance anxiety at bay, or other issues that I and everybody else struggles with. I think it helped me a lot to especially getting over some of these superstitions that were ingrained in me from my cultural background. There's a lot of superstitions that are in the culture. Knowing that that is shouldn't be one's reality just because it's a superstition helped me a lot to sort of get over that way of thinking and sort of approach life in a new way and approach my performance and my sort of results from performance also in a more mature way. I think social media now plays a huge role in connecting with audiences all around the world. It helps spreading my music, my recordings, my products in my online store, which it has some arrangements, recordings, and educational material. It has even helped me land new concert engagements, and overall it's been very helpful and quite entertaining, I would say. It really helps to solidify even my own playing. So let's say if I want to share something with my audiences, I make sure that I'm sharing something of quality, at least at the moment, of what I'm capable of. So it challenges me as well to stay on top of my game. I don't really have any rituals per se, but one thing is that I like not to treat the day of the concert any more important than any other day. I like to do some deep breathing exercises backstage. That helps reduce the sort of adrenaline rush that I experience before concerts, and I believe everyone does. And it helps just keep me more sane and calm and focused and relaxed, and always looking forward to play my best. I would say backstage, I like to have some fruits, if that's important for anyone. I feel it sort of gives me the necessary hydration that I need. Sometimes I have some dark chocolate too, but really nothing too out there. I would say breathing exercises and just having some light food before, including fruits and things like that. Well, thank you very much for sticking around and listening to this segment. I hope it was at least somewhat entertaining for you, and I'm very much looking forward to seeing you in my concerts coming up in March for this tour of Atlantic Canada.